Good morning, everyone. We are the Group 1. Our topic for today is all about human trafficking and human rights in migration.
This is for educational use only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roland Ardines, to use this as an educational materials.
What is human trafficking? Human trafficking is the illegal trade of human rights for exploitation or commercial gain. It often involves the use of force, fraud, and coercion to control the victims, who are forced into various forms of exploitation, such as sex trafficking, labor trafficking, domestic servitude, and also victims are often manipulated or deceived and may be transported across borders or within countries. So human trafficking is a serious crime and a violation of human rights, and efforts to combat involve law enforcement, victim support, and awareness campaigns. So let's proceed to the next presenter.
Good day everyone, my name is Cadet Marcos and we will talk about the examples of human trafficking. What is a human trafficking? Human trafficking is the illegal trade of people for exploitation, typically involving coercion, deception, or force. I will give you the examples. Number 1. Labor trafficking. Labor trafficking are the people who are forced to work under the poor condition, often for a little or no pay. This can happen in industries such as agriculture, construction, or domestic works. Victims may have been deceived with false promises or legitimate work. Number 2. Domestic servitude. Individuals are forced to work in private homes, often without pay and under abusive conditions. This type of trafficking is common among migrant workers or individuals from disadvantaged backgrounds. Number 3. Sex trafficking. Sex traffickings have victims, often young women, are forced into prostitution or other forms of sexual exploitation. Traffickers may use manipulation, threats, violence to control victims. That's all.
Additional information about examples of human trafficking is child trafficking. Children may be trafficked for various purposes such as forced labor, sexual exploitation, or recruitment into child soldiers. In some cases, children are trafficked to be forced into begging or street crime. Organ trafficking. Victims are trafficked to have their organs illegally harvested and sold. This type of trafficking is particularly dangerous as it involves serious medical risk for the victims and can result in death. And lastly, forced marriage. Individuals, often young girls, are coerced or deceived into marriages against their will. This can lead to various forms of exploitation.
Good day everyone, my name is Manto Crescent JD. So my topic for today is what are the three elements of human trafficking? The three elements of human trafficking are acts, means, purpose. So the first one is acts. This refers to the specific action taken to facilitate trafficking, such as recruitment, transportation, and harboring individuals. So the second one is means. This involves the method used to control or manipulate victims. This can include coercion, threats, deception, and exploitation of vulnerabilities. So the third one is purpose. This pertains to the intended outcome of trafficking, typically involving exploitation for labor or services. Thank you.
Human trafficking is the illegal act of controlling and moving people, often through force or deception, to exploit them for labor, sexual activities, or other forms of abuse. This crime can take place within one country or across international borders. Unlike migrant smuggling, where individuals willingly participate, trafficking victims have no choice and forced into exploitation. Some ways to prevent human trafficking is raising awareness, educate vulnerable communities about trafficking risk. Second is enforcing laws, implement and enforce anti-trafficking laws. 3. Supporting victims, offer resources like housing, counseling, and job training. 4. Securing borders strengthens border controls to prevent trafficking. 5. Partnering with organizations. Collaborate with NGOs and groups to improve efforts. 6. Empowering communities. Provide education and economic opportunities to reduce vulnerability. 7. And the last is training workers, equip frontline workers to recognize and respond to trafficking. And that's all.
Good afternoon everyone, my name is Raymond Agarbante and I'm going to talk about what is the current state of human trafficking in the Philippines. So first of all, human trafficking remains a significant issue in the Philippines, although the government has made notable strides. The country has maintained a Tier 1 status in the U.S. Department of State's Trafficking in Persons report for 9 consecutive years. This ranking indicates the Philippines meets minimum standards in anti-trafficking efforts, especially in areas such as prosecuting traffickers, identifying victims, and providing survivor support. In particular, the Philippines has focused on combating online sexual exploitations of children, a prevalent form of trafficking in the region, with strong cooperation between law enforcement and organizations like the International Justice Mission. Recent campaigns led by the Department of Justice have also emphasized community engagement and vigilance to prevent trafficking within local communities. Despite these efforts, challenges persist. The Philippines is still a major source country for trafficked persons, especially vulnerable populations such as women and children, who are often exploited for labor and sexual purposes. The government's anti-trafficking efforts are supported by a whole-of-nation approach, which includes collaboration with international partners to strengthen laws and provide resources for victim protection. However, poverty and lack of opportunities continue to drive trafficking, prompting an ongoing need for education and economic support to reduce vulnerabilities.
Human trafficking and migration are closely linked, as migrants are often vulnerable to exploitation during their journey or upon arrival in a new country. Traffickers prey on migrants seeking better economic opportunities, safety from conflict, or a better life, offering false promises of jobs or shelters. Migrants, especially those who are undocumented or fleeing conflict, are a high risk of being trafficked for forced labor, sexual exploitation, or other forms of abuse. Traffickers exploit migration routes and irregular border crossing, often posing as smugglers or offering assistance that turn into exploitation. Migrants may fear reporting trafficking due to the risk of deportation or detention, leaving them trapped in abusive situations. Corruption, criminal networks, and inadequate legal protection further complicate the issue. So, to effectively combat trafficking, international cooperation and stronger protection for migrants are essential, along with policies that address the specific vulnerabilities faced by women, children, and marginalized groups.
Understanding human rights in immigration. Human rights in migration is the protection of the rights of migrants, which are the same as the rights of all other individuals under the jurisdiction of a state. This includes the right to be free from human rights violations such as arbitrary detention, torture, or collective expulsion. It also includes the right to access basic needs like healthcare, education, and housing. Human rights violations against migrants can include a denial of civil and political rights such as arbitrary detention, torture, or a lack of due process, as well as the economic, social, and cultural rights such as the health, housing, and education. The Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, known as OHCHR, a department within the United Nations responsible for promoting and protecting human rights worldwide, and it was established in 1993. OHCHR works to promote and protect and fulfill the human rights of all migrants, regardless of their status, with particular focus on those migrants in vulnerable situations who are most marginalized and risk of human rights violation. Human rights in migration extend beyond legal protection to foster integration, social cohesion, and mutual respects. Upholding these rights not only benefits migrants but strengthens communities, economies, and international relations by promoting stability, understanding, and ethical standards across borders.
Good day everyone, good day sir. So today I'm here to discuss about understanding human rights in migration. So understanding human rights in migration involves recognizing the inherent dignity and rights of individuals as they move across borders. It emphasizes that migrants, whether refugees, asylum seekers, or economic migrants, are entitled to the same basic human rights as everyone else, regardless of their legal status. This includes the right of life, liberty, and security, as well as protection of discrimination, exploitation, and abuse. International frameworks like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and various United Nations conventions provide legal foundation urging countries to ensure that migrants are treated with respect and fairness. Understanding human rights in migration means addressing the challenges migrants face, such as lack of access to healthcare, education, and legal protection. It also includes advocating for the elimination of harmful policies like detention without due process or the forcible return of migrants to dangerous situations. Human rights in migration underscore the importance of integrating migrants into host societies in a way that respects their dignity and ensures their access to opportunities for a better life while promoting social cohesion and inclusivity.
Okay, I am the last reporter and let me introduce you myself first. I am Cadet Freyo and this is my topic, the adverse effect of human trafficking to globalizations. Okay, human trafficking is intrinsically linked to globalization, which facilitates the movement of people and information across borders. This interconnectedness allows traffickers to exploit vulnerable populations, as reduced borders, controls, and economic disparities increase migration pressures. Globalization creates opportunities that traffickers exploit, luring individuals with false promises of better lives abroad. Additionally, the rise of digital communication enables traffickers to operate more efficiently, advertising illicit service globally. Consequently, human trafficking has become a profitable aspect of globalization, generating significant revenue while undermining human rights and safety across the nation. Causes of human trafficking: decline of border controls. The loosening of border controls and increased economic integration create an environment conducive to trafficking, as traffickers face reduced risk of detection. This situation allowed them to operate more freely across borders, making it easier to exploit vulnerable individuals seeking better opportunities. And there is the cause of human trafficking also: poverty and equality. Globalization exacerbates social conditions such as poverty and inequality, increasing the likelihood of exploitation. Many individuals, driven by desperation for a better life and compelled to accept offers from traffickers, often leading to their victimization in foreign countries. That's all. Thank you.